game live together. We were live commenting and going over things. It was pretty interesting there. What else? There's still some Patriot stuff from the week. I wanted to mention that they're going really analytic. One of my big takes on the Patriots this week is my thoughts on Josh McDaniels. I think Drake May can be good without him. I think Thomas Brown might have more upside, but again, he went 14 to 16 at practice the other day. Nothing to see here, right? Nothing to see here at all. And of course, the Bruins, well, they have a new coach, Marco Sturm. Your thoughts on Marco Sturm? And, well, is it Sturm who needs to be better than Neely or Sweeney for that matter? I think it all falls on Don Sweeney, and now it's him and his time to do some work. So feel free to call in if you'd like at 617-779-0985. Game 1 of the NBA Finals averaged 8.9 million viewers. It was the least watched Game 1 since 1988. The only 2 years that were lower were the COVID years. So again, least watched. There were some viewing issues that I had with watching the game last night. It wasn't about SGA. It wasn't about Halliburton or the Pacers and Thunder and the small markets or any of that. I didn't like the view of it. Could you tell that it was the NBA Finals? Just looking up at times, it felt like a regular season game at times. Now, I could see at the bottom slowly on the board was an NBA Finals sign, but I want that NBA logo, that the O'Brien trophy. I want that on the floor. Now, I guess they aren't doing it because I guess it was slippery in years past, but whatever. Did it feel like the NBA Finals, people, that you were watching last night? I will say this about the NHL. They had a logo. They went with it. I would like to see it more, but these are the finals, everybody. We just went through winter sports and Christmas and holidays, and now we're entering the summer, and this is the final product, the final result with all the streaming going on and everything to that degree. But it's all behind that from last night, behind the poor vision of it all. There was a great finish. A great finish. The Oklahoma City Thunder were the best team last night. The Oklahoma City Thunder were the better team last night. The Oklahoma City Thunder got out to double-digit leads, right? Does it sound familiar, fans? Oklahoma City down the stretch did exactly what the Celtics do. They get out to big leads, and they missed their shots late. I'm not comparing the two. I'm not defending the Celtics. I'm not doing any of that. Sometimes in this league, there are just teams that know how to fight back and know how to win. And there's one thing about the Oklahoma City Thunder that you can honestly say for anybody that's followed them. Do they have the MVP of the league? Absolutely they do. SGA deserved it. He had a 38-point night, 3 steals. Does that sound familiar? How about, do those numbers sound like Jason Tatum-like numbers? 38, 5, 3, 3, right? Only 2 turnovers on the night. But what happened the final 3 possessions for Oklahoma City? Brick. And then they went to a review. Lost the timeout, the Pacers did. The Thunder had the ball with 14 seconds left on the shot clock. They had to take a shot. Who took the shot? SGA, the MVP of the league, who is the best player on the court with 38 points. He misses. Pacers rebound. Outlet. Get the ball to Halliburton. One-on-one. No timeout, by the way. Gets the ball to Halliburton. Gets the look. Shoots it. They take the lead with 0.3 seconds left. SGA was great last night. He played 40 minutes. He was 14 to 30 from the field. He was 3 for 6 from 3. He went 7 of 8 from the free throw line. He did it all. He was a +3 on the night. But he missed 3 straight shots at the end of the game. He missed a shot with 22 seconds to seal the game. Is that what we're talking about today? Or are people more talking about, look at the Pacers, they have a killer. Look at the Pacers, they have a closer. And I got to admit to you, Tyrese Halliburton is really turning into something, man. Who was not a part of the Celtics series last year. And may I remind you that the Pacers who won game one, the Celtics swept them. It's a different year. Halliburton's elevated his game. He's been having double-digit assist nights. Last night he had 6 assists. How about 10 rebounds? How about 14 points? He kind of sucked last night. He was 6 of 13 from the field. He went 2 for 7 from downtown. But for the most part, game on the line. Who got the basketball? It was Tyrese Halliburton who closed it out. I'll say it once again. He wasn't the star of the night. He didn't play the best game. He had 3 turnovers, which was the story of the night for the Pacers. They had 24 turnovers to the Pacers 6 in a 111-110 win. Obi Toppin had 17 off the bench, had a better night. Pascal Siakam had 19 points, better night. In the end, the Pacers fought back. They got back into the game. Why, everybody? Why did the Pacers get back into the game last night? By shooting the 3. I know it's easy to look at the Celtics and their loss and why they're not in the finals. I think we all know why. They doubled down on their philosophy and the margin for error they couldn't adjust. The thing with the Pacers is this team can have 24 turnovers in a game and still win. They can climb back 17, 10. They can be down 7 with a minute to go and still win a game. I think that team has that confidence now to do so. I don't know if this game changes the series. I said over 5.5, so we're definitely getting a 5. The Thunder choked last night. They choked it away. They choked it on the arms of their MVP, the MVP of the league. He missed shots down the stretch. They allowed the Pacers to make shots. And with the game on the line, Tyrese Halliburton had a chance. He made the shot. He closed it out. Pacers take game 1. I'm comparing this all to the Celtics because the Thunder did everything the Celtics do. The Thunder were the better team. The Thunder had the better player. The Thunder had less turnovers. They got more production from their bench. But it came down to shot making at the end of a game. Something the Thunder didn't do, something the Celtics didn't do, something the Pacers have done all playoffs long. We'll leave it there at 617-779-0985. We'll take a look at some more of the numbers from the win last night for the Pacers. We got Skaz here. I'm Joe Murray. You're listening to 98.5 The Sports Hub.
More Joe Murray coming up on the Sports Hub.
Sweet Needs Truck, right out in Bridgewater. Shout out to Jason and crew who brought us over some donuts today. And I'm going to post a nice little social video so you can all can see. But, donuts. It was spectacular. So thank you. Go check them out on Instagram. Sweet Needs Truck. It's amazing. And I've already ate a couple of donuts already. All right, everybody. What'd you think of last night's Pacers comeback 111-110? My take? Thunder lost exactly like the Celtics did. Missing shots. Now, I will say this about the Thunder. They only had 6 turnovers on the night. Imagine, though, what the Pacers could have done if they didn't turn the ball over 24 times in a game. I thought this wasn't supposed to be a series. The Thunder were minus 800 at one point. I thought the Thunder were going to roll the Pacers. That's what I heard. Thunder are going to roll the Pacers. Pacers don't stand a chance. You know what happened? When the game was on the line, the Pacers know how to win. The Pacers can shoot the three and knock down shots. They can defend. They can make you work. And you know who they made work? The MVP of the league, who missed shots. The final shot, by the way. Not hearing the criticism today of SGA. Not hearing about the big choke job. It's all about, can you believe the Pacers and Halliburton? I can. I don't know. I feel like myself and Skaz, we told you all year long, yes, the Celtics would win the championship. We told you that. But we told you their toughest opponent would be the Indiana Pacers. By the way, I'll say it again in case you didn't hear it. The Celtics swept the Pacers a year ago. Granted, Halliburton got hurt, but doesn't matter. The Celtics swept them. How's that make you feel today, Celtics fans? 617-779-0985. Skaz, we were watching the game last night. We were here. It got close. They hit back-to-back threes, right?
Yeah,
the Pacers. That's our guy. And then, all right, they had that little issue out of bounds, remember? I think we said that the Pacers lost the timeout there.
Well, at least we thought. We didn't have sound, but yeah, they challenged the Siakam out of bounds at the end.
They go to SGA, couldn't get into the lane, settled for a poor jump shot. Pacers rebounded, outlet, Halliburton gets it one-on-one, gets a good look, knocks it down, wins the game. I'm making this a Celtics discussion quickly because the Thunder did exactly how the Celtics would lose games. Like, they missed their shots down the stretch. They let up defensively. How did the Pacers get back in the games, guys? What did they shoot? What did they
defense shoot? And 3-point shooting, Joe.
Oh, so people don't like threes. I just wanted to.
Well, they don't like threes when you miss them, which I can co-sign that.
Yeah,
not good when you're missing them. But I think they shot like 46% in the second half or something from three.
46% on the night.
In the game, yeah, I think you're right.
Well, they probably did better in the second half then. How do you blow a 17-point lead at home in Game 1 of the NBA Finals, guys? Now, I think we can say it when it comes to the mid-rounds. Sometimes you sleep on it. Like if the Celtics lost the first one but won the next couple or whatever, they had a hiccup. Like they played with their food because they did that all year. There was a problem with the Celtics. There was a problem there. For
me, losing that lead at home, if it was the Celtics, I think the first thing would be Mazzulla, would be what people would go after, and then Tatum. And I think it's been a lot of SGA today, not as much Dagnall that I've seen. I think he deserves, a lot of the, not all the blame, but a good portion of it. I know people were questioning his rotations with SGA leaving or not putting him in until there was 8 minutes left or whatever it was. So SGA was out there plenty. I heard the afternoon show mention that there's no excuse. They got outplayed. They got outworked. The Pacers do this. They are. Whatever they have going is some sort of magic. I don't know, but it's unbelievable.
There's some sort of killer voodoo going on with Halliburton, which validate yourself. Go ahead, do it. He's done it.
He was voted the most overrated player in the league by his peers less than 6 months ago. The Pacers had an under 500 record at Christmas time. So all the people that are saying, Halliburton's a top 5 player, I don't know if I'd go that far, but he's on one of the best runs you'll ever see. Postseason run, an all-time postseason run. But this is the Pacers since the new year. We're the 3rd best team in the league, and they're showing it right now. So whatever Rick Carlisle did, in that locker room, his switches, I think that's the Pacers' biggest advantage in this series is Rick Carlisle.
Okay, I want to bookmark that for a second. If you want to call in on this topic, 617-779-0985. This is what I wanted to ask, Kaz. Were the Thunder the better team last night? Because I think they were. I think the Thunder were the better basketball team last night. It's no different than maybe the Celtics were the better team against the Knicks and lost. So that's where I'm going with this, everybody. Oklahoma City led the game, but didn't finish. Wasn't this what the old Celtics were like? The ones that didn't get over the hump? The ones that didn't win a championship? Wasn't that what they were? That's what the Thunder are now. The Thunder are that team. The Pacers have a guy that's won a championship before and hungry players that are ascending. Miles Turner's been solid for years. Siakam's won a championship. Nembhard's rising. Neesmith's playing to his potential. Halliburton is closing in on superstardom. Closing in. Their bench is good. Skaz just mentioned the coaching. Rick Carlisle absolutely outcoached Daniel. Absolutely outcoached him. This is the question. How much does coaching really matter in the NBA? I used to think it was nothing. I think this year it's been about probably 70% of the difference. Maybe 65% if I'm giving them too much credit. In a lot of series, the better team didn't always win. In a lot of series, the better coach generally won. Generally won. So I ask, does coaching now matter in the NBA? Well, the Celtics have, I don't want to say a coaching issue, but coaching question. People now are starting to be curious of Joe Mazzulla. I'm sure people are curious about the 40-year-old coach of the Thunder today. I also wonder if the New York Knicks are curious who their next head coach would be. And when I hear names like Jason Kidd could be the next coach, that's the guy you want to go to a championship over Thibodeau? Again, what do I know these days? Like, maybe it would be better for Kidd to get out of there to go to New York. I don't know. Mike Malone. Or a guy that you've groomed. And have you noticed that? A lot of these analytic guys are struggling while the long-term coaches that have been around for a while continue to win series that they shouldn't. I think coaching is starting to become important in the NBA again. Your thoughts at 617-779-0985. Anybody see those betting odds right now? Oh, because the Pacers were 550. And I think I saw it somewhere around 250 today or so. I still think the Thunder show they're the better team. I think they are the better team. But you lose a game like that at home and you don't bounce back from it, it's an uphill battle on the road, I got to tell you. The line for game 2 right now on Sunday night, Thunder are minus 11, so odds makers see a big comeback. Right now, Pacers plus 245 to win the championship. The Thunder went from 800 to 300. If you want value and you still like the Thunder, I'd bet that. I'm still on the over 5.5 games. If it ends in 6, I win. But if you think the Pacers and their coach are the difference, you got yourself a nice little juicy line for the for the Pacers. Pacers. At plus 245. All right, phone number 617-779-0985. Anything else to add to the basketball talks, guys? Because the question I brought up was, does coaching matter in the NBA nowadays? And I'm starting to think it does.
Yeah, I mean, I would tough to argue against that. I think you saw it with, the Bucks' struggles over the last couple of years. I think not all due to coaching, but certainly held them back at times. You look at this Pacers team, how far they've gone. I do think, the Thunder roster is loaded, but Dagnall's done a really good job there. And I think Finch with Minnesota's done a really good job with that team at times as Joe punches Mike. Yeah, so I'm still not going to say that, coaches matter as much in, the NBA as they do in the NFL or something like that. But I think the coaching importance in the NBA is definitely, more than it was, 5 to 10 years ago when you had, David Blatt and Frank Vogel, LeBron dragging guys like that deep into the playoffs.
Agreed, Skaz. I wonder if the old school coaching is still better than the analytics. All right, we'll get a quick look at the Sports Hub headlines. I'm Joe Murray. We do have a hockey game tonight as well, and well, let's see what's going on. We'll continue to take your calls here as we're here till 8 o'clock. I'm Joe Murray, 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Sports Hub headlines, presented by Celsius Energy Drinks.
Red Sox and Yankees currently in a rain delay. The game started, and then, they went, hey, they put the tarp on the field. Well, at least that's what it looked like when I last checked. Yep, nothing, top of the first. Yankees, Red Sox, Jarren Duran was at the plate. So there's that. We will have hockey. Game 2 of the Stanley Cup Final tonight right here on 98.5 The Sports Hub. Edmonton has a 1-0 lead over Brad Marchand. And the Pacers 111-110 win over Oklahoma City Thunder last night to take Game 1. Game 2 is, of course, on Sunday night. And the Knicks interested in speaking with Mavs head coach Jason Kidd. Headlines. They're brought to you by our good friends over at Valvoline Instant Oil Change. Enjoy quick and convenient vehicle maintenance this month. Visit NewEnglandOilChange.com to save 15% off an extra through oil change at Valvoline Instant Oil Change, the official oil change of busy people. I'm Joe Murray.
Don't go anywhere. There's more Joe Murray.
back here on 98.5 The Sports Hub. I'm Joe Murray. NBA Finals on the line. Feel free to call in on that. Well, are the Red Sox going to get going tonight or what? I'm almost kind of curious what the reaction is for the Red Sox tonight and how they respond after the great walk-off on Wednesday and a day off yesterday. I wonder how it all will go tonight for the Sox. And I mentioned a couple of things last night regarding the Red Sox. First, like Ceddanne Raphael has been outstanding. But what's the easiest path for the Red Sox to call up Roman Anthony? Been thinking about this for a bit. Abreu's not going to go anywhere. There is trade talks for Jarren Duran, which I think he's got a value in the league. Ceddanne Raphael is coming along. I've been impressed. Impressed about 3 home runs in a row. His defensive ability is great. I think he's starting to learn a little bit, but I do think he's the type of player we've seen, though. I think he's boom or bust. I think he's a great defender, and he's going to struggle at times. He'll be a bottom of the lineup hitter. He's got that long extension now. I wonder if that's valuable around the league. I wonder if people look at that like, that's a nice little deal, nice little player. It could be a super utility player for somebody. I know that it's probably the answer is Jarren Duran. But I don't know what message trading Ceddanne Raphael would be. But do you know what I do know it would bring? Roman Anthony. Give him regular playing time every day. Maybe it would jolt the offense because he's not batting at the bottom of the order. I know there's paths to get Roman Anthony up here. Maybe you move Raphael to the infield. I don't know. Hasn't happened yet. Like the Red Sox love Raphael in the outfield. They think he's an elite defender. They think he's about to have a breakout. They're trying to compare him to Pete Crow Armstrong of the Cubs, for those who know him. And I saw this F-War thing last night. But right now, Raphael is one of the best in the league in F-War. Not sitting here advocating to trade Ceddanne Raphael. All I'm trying to advocate is if the Red Sox aren't going to be in the playoffs or playoff contenders, start thinking about selling so you can get better pieces. Can you move on from guys to get better? Could you move on from Raphael to get better players? Could you move on from Duran to get better players? And what I mean by that is you trade Raphael for a starting pitcher. Anthony goes to the outfield. You help your lineup. You help your pitching. It was an upgrade. Trading Jarren Duran will hurt the team now. Maybe it will just move Anthony back into the lineup, but where is your pitching now? This is why I mentioned, potentially, Ceddanne Raphael being a pump and dump candidate. I like what I see from the kid. I think he thinks he's going to be here for a long time. And I know that there are good young players around the league like Crow Armstrong that people, I think it's a stretch to compare the two personally. But I always loved the old pump and dump term. Pump them up, dump them out. I think Raphael is the perfect guy for that. Does anybody think Ceddanne Raphael is going to be an all-star? I don't. Do I think he could be a damn good player in this league for 10 years? Yes. But these guys with speed at times, they do struggle later in their career. I'm just saying. If you really want to get better, you might have to subtract one part of your team to improve it elsewhere to bring up the bat that's much better in the minors. So I wanted to throw that in there. Also, yesterday, Craig Breslow spoke on behalf of Alex Cora. The question was, would they ever move on from Alex Cora if things didn't turn around? We're always going to be anchored to what is best for the team, said Breslow. And we have a lot of confidence in Alex. and the leader of this group. He's won in Boston as a player. He won in Boston as a manager. We have conversations daily about everything that we can do to get us back on track. That's where our focus is, and that's what will remain. So, pretty quiet for the most part. From Breslow on Cora, I think Cora has been quiet on Breslow. It's been fairly interesting there on the Red Sox, and I want to see how this weekend does shape up. Like, this could be one of those weekends where if they get swept, it's panic time. If they win, people get excited. If they lose the series, it's just going to be the same old thing. Lost 2 out of 3. It's important. I don't know if it's going to change anything, just like the other night's win. I'm not sure how much it changed. Did it really change anything at all? I'm going to say no. But that's pretty much the latest on everything that's going on with the Red Sox. But the defensive score ranks have been terrible. The way that they leave people on base is just horrendous. They do have some positives, though. Like Garrett Crochet's been great, 1.98 ERA. Aroldis Chapman's been great, 1.98 ERA. We did get an update on Alex Bregman, who thinks he's ahead of schedule, while Cora was like, hey. And Rafael Devers has just been outstanding the last 2 months. And I know he's shown an unwillingness to move around in the field, which probably hurts the team. But he's been positive at the plate, no doubt about it. But not putting on the glove, bad look for him. But I will stand by him at this point. If the team isn't competitive and isn't serious about winning, you do have to think about yourself. And I think in this situation, Devers is doing that. And I will just bring this up as somebody like you guys who work real jobs. When your place of employment gives you a contract and they don't put stuff in the contract, like, for example, Devers. Hey, yeah, you're going to play third base. Then they tell him he's not going to play third base. Well, this is what we agreed to. Well, it's not in the contract. New people in charge. All right, then I'll be the DH. So he's the DH. He struggles. Then has the best 2 months. Oh, can you pick up a glove? Oh, no. You already told me to move. This after telling the GM he didn't know what he was doing. I know that there's been other people. Like I saw Kevin Millar talked about this today. I saw it somewhere. But Kevin Millar was talking about how there needs to be people in the locker room that can get to Rafael, his teammates. They need to sit him down and do a boys club style and say, hey, man, we need you to play first base. You mean who on that team will do that? They don't have anyone to do it. You would think it was Devers, but guess what? When you're not competitive for 5 straight years and you got money, you do have to think about yourself. And you all would do it too. We'll leave it there at 617-779-0985. We got one more break to go, and then the Stanley Cup Final is tonight. We'll be interrupted by them, and then on after the game until midnight tonight. Anything else to get into in the sports world? I got a couple of takes, a couple of bets. We'll do all that. On the other side, I'm Joe Murray here on 98.5 The Sports Hub.
You're listening to Joe. You're listening to Joe Murray on 98.5. You're listening to Joe Murray on 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Ticks on the dog, mosquitoes in your face, ants raiding the kitchen, and termites squatting in your walls like they own the deed. You live in New England, and bugs...
on the Sports Hub.
Is held off over at Fenway, and they got the game going. And if you haven't made it into the park yet, I remind you there's some great places to eat around the ballpark. So if you don't make it into the game, I highly recommend barbecue. Sweet Cheeks would be very good. It's a lot over there. Oh, great little taco place across the street. But right now, the Red Sox trail the New York Yankees 5-0. It's the first inning. Jazz Chisholm went deep. And then Anthony Volpe hit a home run, 369 feet. It is 5-0. Walker Buehler, 5 hits, 5 runs, all earned. 1 strikeout, 2 home runs, 33 pitches. His ERA is 5.29. Walker Buehler, the same guy that they signed, gave big money to, who was with the Dodgers, who's had success, who is not performing. What can the Red Sox do about these first inning issues? How many? If I think about this week alone, I'll just do the Angels series to this. They gave up 10. They've given up 15 runs in the first inning in 3 out of the last 5 games. That's just Joe math right now, guys. That's at least 15. There might be more in there.
They are not a good baseball team right now.
15 runs, 5 runs a game in the first inning. That's that's a run per inning.
They just, do you see that graphic they just tossed up there?
7.06 first inning ERA. 7.0 on the literally as we speak. See, I saw Katie's here today.
I would say not good.
We got our old intern here, Katie. Chris was here last night.
They can't get rid of him.
And now Street Team Joe's here because we brought donuts.
Well, he's not here. He was working. He was not just here for the donuts.
That's true. I did do that. I put that on you there, Street Team Joe. 7.04 ERA, Skaz. Is that good?
Not good.
What? Let's use another sport. Football.
You're down 21-0 the end of the first quarter.
That happened to the Patriots, by the way, the last year. What year? That happened to the Pats, didn't it? Weren't they down like 10 points in like every quarter?
It felt like that at times.
Think about that. 7.0. Guys, it's a touchdown giving up a game. First quarter, every game, you're down 7.04 points. That's hockey. What would be the hockey equivalent?
3 goals.
3 goals in the first. Oh, the 3-goal lead, though. That one's the hardest one to keep in the game, man. It's the hardest one. Let's see, NBA. What would happen? What would that be like? 7 points compared to the other team scoring 25?
Yeah, nowadays a 20-point lead doesn't even.
Oh, it doesn't even matter. 17. The best team in the league. Oh, SGA, the MVP. But the other team's got a killer, everybody. This Thunder thing is really like the Celtics. I'm sorry. I sound like the guy defending both teams now, even though they both lost and blew it. But, like, who were the better teams? You know what's great about the Red Sox games, can I tell you? It's great for us. After the first inning, dude, you can just turn us on. This is the best part. Literally, this first inning, it's like, you know what? Why don't we get a pizza? Hey, what was that new place you were talking about there that we should go try? Why don't we go do that? Because even if it's 5-3, did you miss anything? No.
7:20 first pitch, game's over by 7:35.
I mean, literally, you could go to the bar by 8 o'clock.
The what?
The bar. The bar. Speaking of the bar, where's everybody going for the game 2 of the Stanley Cup Final tonight? Thinking about some action on that one tonight, guys. Florida's favored. Don't like that.
What version of Stuart Skinner are you going to get tonight? That's the question for Edmonton.
I feel like Draisaitl, when he does big things, goes on a run. You know, like
Imagine the rumors if he didn't sign that contract, he'd be linked to the Bruins. Him and Marco Sturm.
Sturm and we're gonna Mitch Marner. We're gonna hear about that one all summer long.
I don't think that's happening.
Mitch Marner all summer long. And we were trying different wings. They were smoking funny things. I think Edmonton wins again tonight. We'll find out that you're right. Goaltending. I thought Sergei Bob, I always call him Sergei Bob. I thought he was great. So yeah, just looking at the game tonight, Edmonton leads the series 1-0. Of course, you all know about the overtime game the other night. Well, another thing I wanted to mention is that both teams have been scoring almost 4 goals a game. So if you're a bettor, I mean, you hit the over last game. Would you go over again tonight? I would. So you'll have that coming up next here on 98.5 The Sports. I wonder if you could bet Brad Marchand to have a goal tonight. I think that is a prop bet that you can actually bet here. I'm looking at it right now. Let's see what we got for goal scorers here. I think that would be goal scorers for tonight. Brad Marchand would be a great pick. Brad Marchand's coming in right now. Anytime goal plus 310. It's good odds. 310? Of course, the favorite in there is Leon Draisaitl, who has plus number by Connor McDavid. Yeah, I think Edmonton goes up 2-0 tonight. That's my take on it. All right, well, guys, we may be here post-game. We're scheduled to be on until midnight. We didn't get on last time because of overtime. So, we'll see what happens. Red Sox losing 5-0, everybody. 7 runs in the first inning, 7.04. All right, we'll talk to you guys after.